Yo, 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 yo! Hello, everybody! Hello, everybody! Johnny Wilson here, aka Johnny Man, with another fanfic reading of Spike's New Brother. A family forgotten, a family found. This is part 4, I believe? Yeah, it is. I'm sorry I'm doing this in parts. I'm on page 21 and 22. I got like 14 more pages before I even get to the really good stuff. So bear with me. It's going to be probably 6 or 7 or 8 parts this story's going to be in. Summarize. Spike, thanks to Nightwing and Starlight, has proven to be the grandson of Fallon, King of the Dragons. And they sent information back to their king about Spike threatening Discord, the main 6 wanting to marry Spike, as well as Trixie. While doing this, his wife, Icaros, the queen of all dragons, comes back to him after 1200 years. And then he tells her the wonderful news that their grandson is alive. But she's not happy, but she does not want to give up Spike so easily until she meets her soon-to-be granddaughter-in-laws. This is where it gets juicy. Meanwhile, Celestia is giving Spike the talk. That's right, the talk, which scares him at the same time, because she's revealing all of this crazy stuff she knows, and he's like, what the hell's going on? You're scaring me. What's gonna happen? Well, let me tell you this. It's gonna be funny and crazy at the same time. Alright, let's continue, shall we? Just then, she heard trumpets blowing in the far end of Ponyville. She raced out to a balcony, with Spike in tow, as both saw the most astonishing sight they had ever seen. About 50 dragon soldiers marching through the streets. They had basically woken up every pony in Ponyville. One dragon had a banner of the crest of the king, and he was shouting at the top of his lungs, hear ye, citizens of Ponyville, please do not be afraid. We do not come for war, but in the name of peace. Every pony, young and old, looked to each other, wondering what was going on. More likely, what the hey was going on. Why all these soldier dragons here? What did they want? Their questions were soon answered. We have come to see Princess Celestia, replied the banner dragon. The Dragon King and Queen have come here to see her and Spike, the Dragon of Ponyville. The moment he said that, every pony started muttering to themselves, somewhat asking why the King and Queen of the Dragons wanted to see Spike. But they didn't feel any ill will from the dragons. The banner dragon continued his speech. We bring food, cider, wine. We have come to celebrate a joyous occasion. For Spike, the dragon was cut off by the king. That's enough. I can speak for myself. Go. Make sure the preparations are already underway for the party. I wanted it up 15 minutes ago. The banner dragon bowed his head. Yes, my lord, at once. Soldiers, to your posts. Make sure every citizen in Ponyville are safe and secure. But if you harm one hair on any of them, by order of the king, you are to be executed. These are our allies, and this is a joyous occasion. Remember that. At that moment, all the soldiers snapped to attention, raising their claws and saluting, and shouting all together, yes, sir! At that moment, they started setting up tables in the main square of Ponyville. The tables were filled with foods, from apples, grapes, cheeses, and wines, plus jam for them to eat on. Oh, for them to eat. Sorry, folks. Getting excited. Been waiting to get this part out for a while. It's getting good. One of the soldiers went to the cake's house, and he knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Carrot Cake opened it, still drowsy. He had just woken up from all the commotion. He looked up and was frozen solid. There was a soldier dragon, a lieutenant by the look of him. Cupcake trotted up to her husband. Honey, what's up? Oh my goodness, what's with all the dragons? Are we under attack? Replied Mrs. Cake with a frightening look on her face. Carrot Cake looked towards his wife. No, honey. I don't think that's the case, but, let me ask. But before he could say a word, the dragon spoke. Are you the Cakes, the proprietors of this establishment? And do you make the best pastries and sweets of all kinds? Carrot Cake nervously answered him. Yes, sir. This is the Sugar Cube Corner. Best place to get the greatest sweets in all of Equestria. The soldier was pleased. Good, replied the soldier as he pulled out 2 big heavy bags. One filled with nothing but gold, the other with nothing but rubies and gems. This bag of gold is to pay for all the cakes in this establishment. And the other bag, we want you to sprinkle over half the cakes. Mr. and Mrs. Cake couldn't believe their ears. Carrot Cake then proceeded to look in the bag of gold and nearly had a heart attack on the spot. There was enough gold to buy his business 10,000 times over. He looked at the soldier, his jaw dropped. Are you saying you want to buy every single cake in the shop? The soldier nodded his head. Yes, we also need you to make more. Many dignitaries of the Dragon Kingdom are coming to celebrate, and we need about 10,000 more cakes, of course. But of course, this is the first bag of gold. It's for the first down payment. The other 5 bags should be here within minutes, so don't worry about not finishing in time. We have some of our own chefs who are instructed to help you in every way they can. We know you have your own way of doing things, but we figure Dragon's Flame can easily get the cakes done within a matter of minutes. Of course we would never dare mess with the recipe. Give me a minute, folks. Carrot Cake only stared at the dragon. He blinked at the soldier a few times. 5 more bags? Replied Carrot Cake, shocked. That's a small fortune! Cupcake started to cry. Oh my, Equestria, that's enough to put our kids through school. We tired from the cake business completely. Oh my, Equestria, so many possibilities. She looked at the soldier with tears in her eyes and hope. Oh, sorry, let me reread that. She looked at the soldier with joy in her eyes. We cannot begin to show our respect and appreciation, but what is the celebration for? The soldier only looked at her and responded with a blank stare. You know, more of a neutral. Sorry, folks. That will be revealed later on tonight. Trust me, you have nothing to fear. This is a celebration of joy. But before I forget, is Miss Pinkie Pie staying here? The cakes looked to each other and then back at the soldier. Carrot Cake was the first to respond. Yes, she's here. Has she done anything wrong? Cupcake was now starting to worry. Oh my goodness, I hope not. She is quite hyper, and sometimes she does not, and sometimes it does get into trouble, but... The soldier stopped them, waving his car frantically. No, she's not in any trouble. She's far from it. We just need her to plan the party. She is one of the main guests of honor for the party. The cakes looked to each other with surprise. They both sounded in unison, Pinkie Pie! Yes! Replied Pinkie Pie, popping out of absolutely nowhere as she usually does. Gee, you think? She then noticed the soldier dragon. Wow, another dragon! And an adult dragon! Are you a soldier? Why are you here? And did I hear some pony say the word party? The dragon soldier was caught off guard a little bit, but realized this pony was the one he was looking for. He only gave her a smug smile. Yes, you must be Pinkie Pie. I will be quick. I have other places to be. Pinkie Pie, will you help plan a party? Oh, a celebration party? And if so, can you get it done in 5 minutes? Pinkie Pie only looked at the soldier before giving him a wide smile. You bet! 5 minutes is more than enough time. How many are expecting to be at the celebration? The soldier pondered. Most of the royal court of the king and queen and some of the high nobles, plus the guards, I say about 150, and most of the citizens of Ponyville. As soon as the soldier finished, he looked at Pinkie Pie. She had the most shocked expression she had had in the last few days, and once again she had a great big smile on her face as she shouted, "That many? I've never planned a party for that many! This can be the biggest party of all of Equestria! I've waited my whole life to throw a party like this!" The soldier dragon smiled. "Well, glad to hear it. And you're one of the main guests at the party, so dress sharp." Pinkie Pie had a dumbfounded face. "Really? That's so cool! All right then. I'll have the party ready in 3 minutes. I have to get my friend Rarity." "Oh, sorry. I have to go and tell my friend Rarity." The soldier waved his claw in front of her. No, there was no need, my lady. I went to Mrs. Rarity's first to ask if she could take care of the designs of the dresses. We have paid her in full as well. Though," he said, scratching his head, "when she saw the gold and I told her we were buying all the dresses she can make, she fainted on the spot. Why, it nearly took me 30 minutes to get her back on her hooves." Pinkie Pie only chuckled while shaking her head. "Yep, that's Rarity for you. She's kind of overdramatic." The soldier only chuckled in response. "So I saw. Well, I'm off to talk with the rest of the main 6. It will take me at least 2 more hours, that is. Oh, and that's also when the party begins. I will be honored to see you there, my lady. Farewell." As soon as he said that, he stuck his head outside of the cake shop and spread his wings and took off into the sky and was headed for Sweet Apple Acres. Meanwhile, at Sweet Apple Acres, Applejack was coming home. She had stayed out way too late bucking apple trees. She felt silly for letting time get away from her. She had a worried expression on her face. "Tarnation! It's 10 o'clock! Oh, horse feathers! Big Mac and Granny Smith are gonna chew me out for staying out this late again. But I got bigger problems now. How in the hay am I gonna tell them that I'm engaged to Spike? That I love him? That I've been in love with him for months now? And I still haven't sent one word to my family. It's not like I could just go to them and say, 'Hi, I'm gonna marry Spike out of the blue.' I have to pick my time just right. Wonder how Big Macintosh is gonna handle this. Sure, him and Spike have been beginning to bond more over the week. Sure, him and Spike have been bonding more over the last few weeks. Spike knows most of the family already, and they really like him, but will they accept him as a family member? As my husband? And how the hay they think about Spike marrying the rest of my friends? Would they accept that kind of lifestyle? Aw, shoot, why did I wait so long? Oh, tarnation, I should have told them the moment I fell in love with him." She let out a deep sigh, and then got herself together. "Well, I guess when the time comes, I'll just have to tell him. Which won't be long. It's gonna have to be tomorrow. I can't keep putting this off." Applejack adjusted her hat and was carrying the last basket of apples and was heading back to the barn with them in tow. When all of a sudden, she saw the most strangest thing. She saw the most strangest sight in her life. There was all of her family and co-workers scrambling about, trying to prepare for some sort of celebration. It seemed that way to her, because they were making apple pie, fritters, you name it. Every pony was working double time, too. She finally found Big Macintosh among all the chaos. He was trying to get every pony into their places and get the orders filled. So he spotted Applejack trotting up to him. Okay, folks, give me a break. Alright, I'm gonna do my best. I'm getting excited and it's making me stutter, make mistakes, so if I have to reread some lines, bear with me. Where have you been? There's hectic around here, and we sure could use a help, sis. Applejack looked at all the chaotic state as stallions and males were trying to fill orders as fast as they could. Applejack only shook her head in agreement. No kidding! What in tarnation's going on? Big Macintosh rubbed the bottom of his head with his hoop and sighed. Reckon I don't know, sis. What I do know is there was a dragon here, and it wasn't Spike. This was a soldier dragon. He claimed to be a soldier for the king of all dragons. Now, Applejack was dumbfounded. She just stood there looking at Big Macintosh. A few seconds of silence passed before she had snapped back to reality. Another dragon? The king of the dragons? What? Now, excuse me. Now calm down, little sister, replied Big Macintosh with a stern look on his face. Let me finish now. As I was saying, me and the other workers were turning in for the night, and I was looking for you, when all of a sudden, this dragon that looked like a soldier landed out of the sky out of nowhere right in front of me. At first I thought he came to pick a fight, but then told me he wanted us to bake enough pastries and prepare our best apple cider for the big event that's happening in Ponyville. And that all the big shots from the Dragon Kingdom are going to be there, including the King and Queen. They paid us, and I can't believe I'm saying this, 1 million gold coins for all the cider and apple pastries they want. And they said it's also for us. So for the last hour, we've been going about, scratching, scrabbling, trying to get this order filled. Because that soldier dragon told me that the party will be in 2 hours from now, and we only got 1 hour left to get the pastries and the apples and the cider to the main square of Ponyville, and we have it ready. We've already made the cider and the pies, and such. We are just starting to load them into the wagon now. Now here's where you come in. The soldier also said that you and the rest of the main six are the guests of honor. Besides the king and queen, do you know what's going on, sis? At that point, Applejack could not believe what she was hearing. 1 million gold coins worth of apple and cider? That was the biggest order in her family's history. And what's more important is this party was about her and the main six, her dearest friends. She had no idea what was going on. Sorry, Big Mac. I don't know what's going on. Wait, where's Granny? Big Mac snorted out of frustration. She's darn gone ahead of us, trying to find out what's going on. She's probably talking with the king and queen by now, if I know that pony. Applejack tilted her hat forward, getting ready for action. She gave Big Mac a stern look. Is Apple with her? Nope, she's visiting out of town with her friends, remember? Replied Big Macintosh with a smile. Applejack gave him one in return and nodded her head. Right, good. Well, let's go find out why the hey every dragon is in Ponyville. Plus, we gotta deliver this order, so let's go to Ponyville Main Hall, Big Macintosh. Big Macintosh nodded. So did the other workers. They loaded up the apples and pastries, the cider, and headed to Ponyville Main Hall. I am so sorry, I'm getting excited. It's really getting good, so bear with me. An hour later at Ponyville Main Hall, Pinkie Pie had kept her word and set up the decorations, and by far the fastest party she had ever set up, and it was also one of the biggest. She went all out. She had dragon themed and pony themed. Mr. and Mrs. Cake had made all the cakes and cupcakes. Half of them were edible for ponies. The other half had diamonds and gems and rubies for the dragons. 2 dragons were talking to the mayor of Ponyville, who at the time was still caught off guard. After all, this party came out of nowhere, so she had a lot of organizing to do, making sure that her citizens weren't frightened by the heavily armed guards of the Dragon King and Queen, who had basically showed up out of nowhere. The mayor only looked to Pinkie Pie, who had just trotted up to her. Pinkie Pie, I truly thank you for this party. This is by far one of your greatest. And in such a short amount of time, you're not the queen of parties for nothing. Pinkie Pie only smiled. You got that right. No pony does a party better than me. But I still have one question. What is the celebration for? The mayor only shook her head in confusion. I don't know, Pinkie Pie, but one of the soldiers told me that the king and queen will be explaining everything. themselves once the party has started. Just then, they heard 6 familiar voices calling out to them. It was 5 of the main 6, and Trixie, all dressed up in their dresses. You know, the ones they had from when John and Spike had that dream that they would get married to them. Yeah, those dresses. Rarity was the first to speak. Darlings, what's going on? One minute I am sleeping in my bed, then Sweetie Bear comes and tells me that we have a visitor at the door, and it turned out to be a giant soldier dragon. Get this, he pays me 100 gold coins to make the finest dresses for dragons and every pony in Ponyville. He said it was for a celebration, and that it would make the galloping gala look like child's play. I've never had an order that big before. I fainted for at least 30 minutes, and they said I had 2 hours to make them, but I did not do it alone. They gave me some of the best seamstress dragonesses to help. I have never worked with such professionals before. Darlings, I will admit, it did not take me long to finish. Plus, I have come up with some of the most fabulous designs. Thanks to them, it would put me over the top. Rainbow Dash flew right dead center of the group and put her 2 bits in it as well.
Yeah, same goes for me. One minute I'm sleeping in my house in the Cloudsdale. Oh, sorry, in Cloudsdale, when suddenly there's a knock on my door. I open it to find a dragon soldier asking me if I would do a sonic rain boom. Then he tells me he paid the Wonderbolt to perform a sky show, and I was also one of the main guests of honor. What in the name of Crustria is going on? Oh, and get this, he also paid me 100 gold.
Fluttershy carefully and bashfully stepped forward.
Well, that's also what happened to me. I was at my house tucking all the little animals in for the night and getting ready for all the night animals when a dragon soldier approached me. I was scared at first, but he reassured me that he wasn't going to hurt me. He didn't ask me to perform any shows or like that, only that I was one of the main guests at the celebration. He also gave me 1 million gold coins.
Suddenly, they heard Applejack's voice. You too, Sugar Cube? That's nearly the same thing that happened to us. Every pony turned around to see Applejack and Big Macintosh with 6 giant wagons filled with nothing but apple pies, another filled with baked goods, and a lot of cider. The moment they stopped the wagons, the dragon soldiers descended on them like vultures, and unloading and distributing every pastry, every barrel of cider to the party. Is that right? Oh, sorry. The dragon soldiers came to them, unloading and distributing. I'm sorry. Let's try that one more time. The moment they stopped the wagons, dragon soldiers came to them, unloading and distributing them to where they needed to go in order to get the party started as quickly as possible. They did it in a flash. The wagons were completely empty. Big Macintosh just whistled, impressed by the speed of the dragons. Well, that's a new one. This whole night has been one big surprise after another, and I've got a feeling it's just getting started. Applejack agreed with her brother. You got that right, Big Bro. I just want to know what in the hay is this celebration about. So you don't know either, huh? The 5 ponies turned to see Trixie all dressed up, waiting for the celebration, just as confused as they were. The great and powerful Trixie was having a lovely sleep when all of a sudden a dragon soldier was at my door, telling me to come here, and like the rest of you gave me a small fortune in gold. I've never had so much gold in my life. With this, I can finally turn my life around and help my folks for all the times they supported me. I was hoping to get some answers, but it seems you don't know anything. At least, no more than I. Every pony nodded in agreement with Trixie.
Well, that's obvious. I mean, this just came out of the blue. It caught every pony off guard.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's obvious. obvious? I mean, this just came out of the blue. It's caught every pony off guard. Every pony turned around to see Shining Armor and his wife Cadence trotting up to them, suited for the party. Shining Armor gave them a serious look. I mean, serious neutral look. Hey, every pony. Nice night for a party. Cadence only looked at her husband with a giggle. It sure is, honey. If we knew what the celebration was about, that is. And before any of you girls ask, we don't know what's going on either, replied Cadence. Shining Armor stepped forward, his expression wavering a good bit. Yeah, they came out of nowhere. I was about to assemble every guard in Equestria for a counterattack, when the head captain of the Dragons told us that there was no invasion, but were planning for a party, and that every pony was invited. Well, let's just say that caught me off guard, majorly. So all my soldiers are doing is trying to keep the peace, but it doesn't seem like it's necessary. I mean, these guys have enough firepower to take us down with so much without receiving a scratch. Suddenly, a purple violet aura appeared, and with a pop, there was Twilight Sparkle.
Hi, every pony. I take it you're here for the same reason as me. Let me guess. A dragon soldier, 1 million gold coins, and told you to come here as the main guest of the celebration. And that no pony knows what anything's about?
Every pony shook their head in agreement. Suddenly, Celestia came in. Oh, sorry. Suddenly, they all heard Celestia's voice. Then that makes all 11 of us then. Once again, every pony turned around to see Princess Celestia, John, and Luna. Oh, to see Princess Celestia, as well as John and Luna. John was all suited up. He had on his golden tuxedo, you know, the same one from the dream. John just looked at them confused. Me and Luna were talking about the preparations for the wedding when all of a sudden the same thing happened to us. Luna only nodded. Yes, it is the strangest thing. Celestia could only agree. Yes, I don't believe this is an invasion, but for the king and queen of all of a sudden to come to Ponyville without so much as a notice or a written letter, this must be important. No sooner that she had finished her sentence, trumpets were blowing. Every pony that had assembled at the main hall is now in the main square of the town. All eyes were on the banner dragon. He was the one blowing the trumpet. As he finished, he shouted, "Mares, stallions of all ponies, ponies of all ages as well, thank you for coming. And also for putting up with us so far. We understand that this is out of the blue, but I repeat from earlier, this is not war, but a celebration. We are here today to celebrate a great discovery, but now, the one to explain this is none other than His Majesty, King Theon Xanatos, the great leader of the Arbiter War against Malifaux, and King of all dragons, son of Xanatos Dragoon, and by his side, the lovely and wise Queen Icaros, Queen of all dragons." At that moment, every dragon stood up and saluted, as the two made their way down the rows of guards and stopped right in front of the princesses, Celestia and the others. Oh, Princess Celestia and the others bowed to them. Theron gave her a great smile. "Lady Celestia, Princess of the Sun, my, how have you grown up to be a mighty fine mare over the last 1,200 years. You look just like your mother. And Luna, I'm glad to see you're no longer Nightmare Moon. You look just like your father. They would be proud to see you as you are today. Kind, loving co-rulers of Equestria." He finished with another bow. Celestia was taken aback. I must say, it's great to see you too, King Theron. Though, your visit is quite unexpected. May I ask what the celebration is for? Just then, Icaros stepped forward. "Patience, my dear. All in good time. Right now, I want to meet them," she replied with a coy smile. Them?" Celestia replied with a confused look. "Who do you mean by them?" Icaros cocked one eyebrow up. "Who? Why, the main six, of course. And Trixie. After all, if they are going to be family, I need to get to know them better. Celestia gasped. She knew now why the king and queen had come to Ponyville, why the celebration was set up, and who it was for. Icarus had noticed this as well, so she decided to cut the princess off at the pass before she ruined the surprise. Now, she replied with a coy smile. I'm glad you figured it out, but let's wait until the guests of honor arrives, shall we? Celestia didn't know what to think. She never thought this day would come. Though, then again, she should have expected this. After all, Spike blowing such a huge flame into the sky was practically like a beacon for all the other dragons. So it was only obvious that the king and queen would show up, but she never thought it would be in the same day. Celestia agreed, but she had a few questions. I knew this day would come. When I found his egg, I knew that one day his family might come. But I must ask, how did you know he was here? And how do you know about the main six? Thalon walked over to Celestia and answered her questions with a chuckle. That is my doing. I felt the flame of the arbiter from a distance, and as well as saw the flame, and knew it can only belong to the arbiter, and the only arbiter at that time was my son Spy, and the only other being that can have that flame would be his son, that he and Cinder had in secret. So I sent my two best soldiers that you have no doubt met, Nightwing and Starlight, to report exactly who was responsible for the flame. Now I made sure they were not seen. After all, our two nations are barely coexisting with one another. I did not wish to trigger a war. I'm sorry, folks, if the king's voice sounds different. Sorry about that. I'm just so pumped. I got adrenaline rushing through my veins. It's just changing my voice. Bear with me. Celestia only smiled with a happy smile. She was relieved to know that he took care of things, how he proceeded with his plan with great caution. Celestia gave him a loving smile. Well, I'm glad to see that you're still as wise as ever, but you could have just wrote me a letter and I would have gladly told you everything. The king looked surprised. Then he began to chuckle. Oh ho! But if I did that, I would not find out that my grandson is quite the lady slayer. 7 wives? If you must know, his father was the romantic in the family. Celestia's eyes widened, and she started acting like a little school filly as she bounced up and down, and shouted in pure joy. I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I figured it was the father, like son. The queen only laughed her heart out. You know it! So, when can we meet them? Celestia gave her a coy smile. I guess that's to be expected. Wait right here, and I will go get them. Just as she was departing, John and Luna were arriving. They were curious about what was going on. Luna gave her sister a confused look. Sister, what is thy celebration about? It's so festive. I can currently see Pinkie Pie's hoof in all this, especially the cakes and the sweets, but what concerns me is the entire Dragon Council. Are our two kingdoms finally going to have a peace treaty? Better yet, commerce and trade? Luna was bombarding Celestia with so many questions she didn't know how to respond. But the queen did, so she decided to step in and answer the Princess of the Night's questions. To answer your first question, yes, this is a celebration. The reason why so many soldiers are here is for our protection. And for many nobles that came tonight. And yes, we asked the help of your friends to plan the party. And I must say, this Pinkie Pie certainly knows how to throw one down. Luna chuckled lightly. Yes, thy pony certainly knows her way around parties. Icarus only smiled. That she does. My, you look just like the king, your father. He would deeply be proud of you. of what you become. Though it is a shame we lost him during the Great War. He was strong and wise. Luna gasped at this. She realized who this dragon was. She was the queen. Because only the queen of the dragons knew what happened to the last king of Equestria. He fought with the dragons against the Dark Arbiter, and unfortunately her mother and father fell in that battle. She quickly bowed to her, feeling foolish for not realizing who she was. Oh my goodness, thou forgive me, Queen Icaros, queen of all dragons, wielder of the nature of light. Icaros looked at her with a straight, flat face, then put one claw on her shoulder and smiled. Now, it's alright. No need to get so formal. I'm happy to see you've mellowed over the last few years, especially with your special man. Upon hearing this, Luna started freaking out. How did I know that? It's not thy problem, it's just I have not told any pony yet, or even announced it. Celestia also looked confused and shocked. Yes, dear Icaros, how did you know this was going on? Suddenly, the king stepped in. Now, settle down. That is also my doing, Celestia. Have you forgotten you met my two best soldiers? Of all my army, Nightwing and Starlight? And that I sent them here to find out the source of the flame? Well, while they were doing that, they recorded the whole event between Spike and Discord with this recording crystal. He then proceeded to show the crystal to Celestia. And then continued. And the conversation that John and Luna had. But I must say, a human here in Equestria? I have not heard or seen one in over 5,253 years. Not since the near end of the war, when the strongest of his kind took on Nightmare and separated the worlds. Just then, Celestia and Luna's eyes widened. They couldn't believe what they just heard. Celestia was dumbstruck. So, it's true. That would explain the portal and the evergreen and the everfree forest. There was no doubt in my mind that the two worlds, John's and ours, were once one and the same. Luna looked at her sister with a confused look. With confusion and shock. She had not heard this legend, or this being Nightmare. She remembered Malefor, but not Nightmare. She turned to her sister. Legend? What art thou saying? That they were humans in Equestria? How is that possible? And what have you not told me, dear sister? Celestia turned to her sister with sadness starting to show on her face. No, Luna, I did not mean to keep anything from you. This is all new to me as well. Though, ever since John came to our world, I was wondering how he came so easily. So I went to the Royal Archives, the ones Mother and Father had, and found a legend. Well, more like a recording of the war. Turns out Malefor was not alone in his campaign. He had an accomplice named Nightmare, a being formed of nothing but dark magic and the nightmares of all beings. Luna's mouth dropped. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. My word! Thou was so hideous as well to be stripped from the record books? Celestia nodded. But that was not all. She was about to tell her sister. But that was not all. What she was about to tell her sister would rock the very foundation of Equestria. And I'm gonna leave off from there. Oh boy. I'm sorry, I'm getting so winded. I have to stop right there. I'm getting winded. I'm getting pooped. And I'm sorry. I can't go on anymore. I'll try to do the rest of them later on, either tonight or tomorrow. But I'm going to be getting this out as soon as I can. I thank you all for reading. I'm on page 32. I got like 2 more pages because I want to get to the really good stuff. And I'm about to get to Spike. He's about to meet the family. And, well, It's getting good. So, good night, every pony. Good night, every brony.